Okay. I'm going to call to order Committee of the Whole meeting number 217 for June 1st. And in honor of the Liuatul, the Village of Pemberton acknowledges that we are meeting within the unceded territory of the Liuat Nation. For those members of the public in attendance, please note that this meeting is a live webinar and is being recorded. Recording the meeting will be available on the Village's website following the meeting. Any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Councillor Noble, second by Councillor Zant. Any opposed? Motion carries. Adoption of minutes from Committee of the Whole 215 from April 27th, moved by Councillor Craddock, second by Councillor Antonelli. Any opposed? Motion carries. And we only have the one item on our menu, which is the UBCM Convention Minister Meetings. And Ms. Kennedy will give us a little overview.
Good afternoon, Committee of the Whole. Thank you for taking the time to hear my report. The purpose of the report is to seek input from the committee regarding minister meetings and attendance at the 2021 UBCM Virtual Convention to be held from September 14th to September 17th. The convention will offer opportunities for meetings with the Premier and Cabinet Ministers and staff from provincial ministries, agencies, commissions, and corporations by teleconference call between September 7th and 13th, the week prior to the convention. Information regarding meeting requests is attached to the report in Appendix B. Up to 3 topics may be addressed at each meeting. Meeting briefs are no longer accepted, so all relevant information must be included in the online meeting form, which is limited to 100 characters for the topic title, 700 characters for background information, and 1 sentence of 300 characters for the request. And due to the limited time available for meetings and the very compressed format of meeting requests, it's important that the meeting topics reflect issues that can be distilled into a concrete ask. Meetings addressing topics that have been considered in the past may be granted, provided that past responses and actions are acknowledged. Tracking sheets listing recent minister meetings and UBCM resolutions are attached in Appendices D and E. Staff have been in consultation with Pemberton Valley Diking District as they are working to resolve 2 issues that undermine their ability to complete some urgently needed dike upgrades. And should Kevin Clark of PVDD determine that council support by way of a minister meeting would advance resolution of these issues, staff will present draft meeting request for council approval at the next regular council meeting on June 15th. My report concludes with 2 recommendations. First, that the committee provide direction regarding meeting requests, including issues to be presented and associated asks, and that the committee members inform staff if they plan to attend the 2021 virtual convention. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have and to hear your proposed meeting topics.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Hearing no questions, what are our thoughts on this? I was definitely thinking about the PVDD resolutions, and the other ones that come to mind are unfortunately the ones that we've already hit a few times, but I'm happy to do again if we feel we keep banging the drum might help. In other words, things like childcare. That would be definitely one I would consider, and it could be one we consider with Squamish as well, since we put in a joint resolution and they're having similar struggles. So maybe if we brought back up to this one, that would help. So those are a couple quick thoughts, but I'll open it up to the committee. Any thoughts from ministerial meetings? Councillor Craddock.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor Richmond. I had just marked down the kindergarten funding for daycare funding if it hasn't been decided before that time. We've approached them a number of times already, so I'm not sure they'll take the meeting, but I agree with you that we should get together with Squamish on that and see if we can get a joint meeting together. It would be a very good thing to do. And just to follow up on that to Ms. Kennedy, I will not be in town that weekend, and I hope to look to Councillor Antonelli to be my alternative municipal insurance authority, which is on the Monday, the 13th from 3:30 to 4:30, and see if she could possibly attend in my absence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Craddock. Any other thoughts for ministerial meetings?
Richmond.
Go ahead, Councillor Zant.
I guess my only thought would be, I know we've spoken about this many times as well, is the affordable housing. And see if there's anything else we can do on that front. I know we've got a letter in our agenda meeting, in our meeting tonight about the 3-digit hotline, suicide hotline.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if that would be a place to bring it up in UBCM as well.
Some of those broader
Vicky?
issues, like the 3-digit, those are more in resolution and things that UBCM not membership, the UBCM
Executive?
member. Pardon me, what's
Oh,
the name word I'm
members.
looking for?
Oh, no, I had the wrong one.
Executive.
Oh, that's what I
UBCM
said.
I couldn't hear you because I was mumbling. The UBCM executive sort of bring that up directly with the province on those broader issues. Sometimes they kind of overlap, like for instance, our resolution, and I'll, bring this up as a question again, our resolution about having more resources go towards campgrounds and Forest Service roads and to Flynn Row and all that sort of thing. That's a resolution that is broader to the whole province. I'm sure a lot of us would like that. It's also quite specific to us, and that's why we've done both. It's specific to us because of the pressures we have from the Lower Mainland and the amount of people that come up here, as we know. But something like the 3-digit, that's a bigger one. And hold the thought on affordable housing. I'll have some comments on that after. Anybody, and again, the parks and for me, it's not even the parks so much. I feel like the parks budget is set, but it's the Forest Service roads and the rec sites and Flynn Row tenure that to me is what's being underfunded. So I'm still happy to go back and make that case if we need. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Go ahead, Councilor Noble.
I think it would be good to go back and make that case again, because I keep hearing more and more reports of the back roads just being overwhelmed by campers and all the waste that's left behind. Even driving down Airport Road, you see a sampling of it every day, not just weekends.
So yeah, I totally agree. And that's why, I feel like some of these talks, because we've had these conversations so many times, we feel like we're ineffective, we shouldn't bother. But I also, in my limited experience, feel that sometimes you just keep pounding away and you actually do get little wins. And it's one of the few tools we have to get our messages out to the ministers. So, even if it's an old message like daycare, it's still a relevant message, or like the parks. It's still relevant. So I'm happy to have the meetings. Sorry, I meant to tell you this in our SLRD meeting, Committee of the Whole. We did discuss, I didn't discuss daycare yet with Squamish. I wanted to talk to you guys about that first, but we did discuss at the regional district, Flynn Row, MOE regarding parks, and Flynn Row. There was a couple issues. Some of the board members want to approach the old growth harvest issues, and as well as the FSRs and everything we're talking about. So maybe same as the daycare, maybe if we want to get a little bit more bang for our buck, maybe we should, since this is a regional as well as local issue about the FSRs in the backcountry, we should team up with the SLRD on this one as well. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I could bring, yeah. I would like to talk to staff a little bit about it later, because there was discussion about it. We do resolutions a little bit differently here at the village than they do at the board in terms of how they're prepared and all that. So I might need some support maybe from Ms. Kennedy or to figure out how we do it, and Ms. Fraser to figure out how we do it with the SLRD. But yeah, let's leave that one at that. Any other thoughts? So seeing none.
Councillor Antonelli.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't see you.
I think the old growth issue that's coming up a lot right now is really important. I don't know that it's really a Village of Pemberton issue, but I think somehow we should contribute to that, because while we might not have old growth within the Village of Pemberton, I think our residents are really concerned and want to have some kind of a voice. So do you see any way of participating there?
Well, if you like, I could ask the regional district if I could participate in that meeting with them as, and not just participate as a director, but to participate more as the Village of Pemberton, or any one of you. If you're attending the conference, you're more than welcome to. It could be you if you like, to be able to speak and represent the village on that one. And so maybe try to make it a joint meeting. So I can bring that back. Our next, the SLRD meeting is like 3 days before the deadline for these applications for ministers' meetings. But if you want, Councillor Antonelli, I'm happy to ask them to make it a joint meeting. And if you're there, you can go, or if you want me to go, I can go.
Yeah, I think a joint meeting is a good idea.
Okay, then.
Can we just, from a staff perspective, get clarity on what
Mhm.
exactly we've got a
I
lot of
was
joint
gonna-
meetings and I'm not sure how joint meetings fully work.
So generally it's the request comes from one of the municipalities. So in this case, it would definitely come from the regional district. Then it's a joint meeting, and other municipalities participate, but it's led by the one. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's much else to it, Sheena.
And I'm just thinking about the daycare. Are we going to approach Squamish, or how is that something that you would speak with the mayor of Squamish about? We have to craft the wording of the request. So how we do that.
So how about we, one of the motions that'll come out of this will be for staff to contact staff at the District of Squamish to discuss a joint meeting on daycare funding. And if you want, I could help you find appropriate staff at the DOS.
Would that be something the CAO, we can talk with perhaps CAO Gilmore on that, what the best approach is? Okay.
Okay, so can I get a motion on that? Let's start by cleaning this up. Councillor Zant, seconded by Councillor Antonelli. Further discussion? Any opposed? Motion carries. And then in terms of the parks and the old growth, which are both of those are Flynn Road. Some of the other park stuff is Ministry of Environment. I don't know that we need a motion. I could bring it back to the board, or we could have staff contact staff. No, let me bring it back to the board, and I could support. Sorry, I'm thinking aloud here. Are you okay with that, Sheena, if I just go straight to the board with it and say we'd like to participate and just go that route? That saves our staff the time of having to go back and their meeting as the director for the Village of Pemberton on the board. I can go represent us on that, and I'm certain if we want to get Councillor Antonelli invited to that, if that's okay.
I think that makes the most sense. And if the board has already had discussions around these, and our staff are already kind of working on that, it makes sense. It just keeps it cleaner.
Yeah. So let's leave it at that. I'll bring it back to the board, and I'll keep all of you informed, and yourself as well, Councillor Antonelli, in terms of speaking to that. So we've got parks, backcountry, old growth, daycare, and then the PVDD ones were around. Go ahead, Ms. Gilmore.
So I did reach out to the PVDD last week and just asked if it made sense for us to request minister meetings on two matters. And one is to allow improvement districts to apply to a competitive funding stream. And also regarding seismic changes to dikes. So Mr. Clark did have a couple of suggestions. We were just running close on time to prepare the agenda package. So we're going to connect again, and then I can bring some information back. He had some other ideas that might work. So I'll bring that back on June 15th. Council, if the committee is good with that.
Everybody good with that? Okay. Any other thoughts on ministers' meetings? Oh, and what else? Who else is participating? Ms. Kennedy, I'll be participating in UBCM. Anybody else?
I would like to
go ahead, Councillor
participate.
Noble. Yeah. Councillor
I
Antonelli.
haven't,
Councillor Zant, did you say yes or I didn't hear?
I
you?
haven't decided yet.
Okay.
What's the deadline again? June 30th?
Gwendolyn?
June 30th is the deadline for the meeting. So if you want to participate in the meeting, we would need to know it by then. But I believe the registration deadline is quite a bit later. I can double check on that and let you know.
So you could always wait and see on that in terms of the rest of the convention stuff, Ryan. Okay.
Sorry, Councillor Antonelli, did you indicate, I saw you had your hand up, were you put you on the list as well?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything else then? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn committee of the whole?
And to adjourn.
Councillor Noble, second by Councillor Zant. Any opposed? We're adjourned. Do we have to start in camera at 4 o'clock?